passengers of the American Airlines have been through a terrifying ordeal they barely survived after a woman's hysterical behavior disrupted a flight from Dallas-Fort Worth to Charlotte, NC, the New York Post reported. The flight to Charlotte had already been delayed for several hours before the plane finally took off at midnight, and the passengers were already frustrated and tired waiting for many hours before they could board the plane. Little did they know, this was nothing but the beginning of their troubles. With everything that can go wrong with a 50-ton titanium airbus hurtling through the sky several miles above the Earth, passengers sabotaging the flight was the least of their concerns. And sadly enough, the airline security can't do much when it comes to malicious and violent travelers, especially when they're flying over 30,000 feet in the air. A passenger was discreetly filming the entire scene. In the secretly recorded video, passengers are shown filing past a woman with silver duct tape over her mouth, around her wrists, and wrapped across her chest tied to the seat she was sitting on to make sure she was held in place. Before the duct-taped woman even appeared on video, she could be heard pleading every passerby to come to her rescue and untie her. Flight attendants calmly bid passengers farewell as they shuffle past the restrained woman, who repeatedly shouts "you" and "people" at customers. The passenger recording the video then captures several EMTs standing next to a gurney at the exit of the plane. The passenger who recorded the video explained that the lights came on around an hour into the flight, and we see all flight attendants running up and down the aisles, frantically kind of whispering to each other. She said crew members then locked the bathrooms and grabbed luggage from the overhead bins in a chaotic manner before the pilot came over the intercom to reveal that there was a bad situation in the plane right now. Then we're gradually starting to hear more and more screaming, and we're like, "Wait a minute," she noted. According to the same passenger, a flight attendant told her that a woman with an apparent mental issue had an outburst and was hysterical, determined to get off the plane in any way. The woman in question allegedly went up to the exits and started banging on the doors, saying, "You need to let me off this plane," before she bit a flight attendant. The American Airlines later confirmed that the woman actually attempted to open the forward boarding door and was restrained for the safety and security of the other passengers and crew members on board. "I guess it took all 5 flight attendants to subdue her and literally take her down," she commented on the incident, first reported by TMZ. "They pretty much took her down, put her in the seat, and duct-taped her." Even though there was panic that the woman may have been able to open an emergency exit door in the middle of the flight, thousands of miles up in the air, scientists say this cannot be true for several reasons. The first one being the plane's automatic locks and the immense air pressure outside the plane that physically prevents any attempts of opening the emergency exits from happening. "You see that great big handle on the door? That's actually locked shut," says Steve Wright, an associate professor of aerospace engineering at the University of the West of England. "When the plane touches down and is taxiing to the gate, you'll hear the pilot say, 'Doors to manual.' It's only at that point where the pilot has handed off control, and where those doors are actually capable of being opened by someone standing near them." While the American Airlines received a major backlash for the barbaric way the flight attendants handled the alleged situation, much of their response has been in defense of the attendants. Many people pointed out that in such citations, the most important thing to do is to make sure that the threat is neutralized by any means necessary in order to ensure the safety of the rest of the passengers and crew members. Immediately upon landing, the duct-taped woman was taken to a local hospital for physical and psychological evaluation. She was also placed on American Airlines' internal no-fly list until the investigation that was being conducted ended. Whether the woman really suffered from severe mental illness or not, she had to be restrained to make sure she was no danger to those around her. While duct tape was definitely an extreme and somewhat inhumane measure, it did prove to be effective in this case,